Hey y'all, Ramdino here, coming at you from, where am I? Well, we are on somewhere near the North Carolina-Tennessee state line. And if you don't know by looking behind me, knowing where I'm at, well, you're gonna figure it out here in a little while. So stick around. I am getting ready to head into the Smokies on the southern section of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And I am currently on Fontana Dam with a partner of mine. Trail name is Uncle Si. So the Fontana Lake here is at full pond. Spillways are wide open. Two of them anyway, so that's half of them. But anyhow, we're getting ready to do the climb out up to Molly's Ridge Shelter. So we'll show you what's going on. Alright, so as is usual, we're 30 minutes into our hike. Once we got off the blacktop there to dam, hit the barricade, and the trail starts in earnest, this is what it looks like. Probably looks flat to you, but it ain't. So it'll be a uphill grind from the blacktop. I think it said 9.9. So it'll be an uphill grind all the way to Molly's Ridge. Pretty day. Temp right now is probably 70-ish. Maybe not quite that. Probably, yeah, something like that. But anyway, the temp's not supposed to get much above, I think it's 78. We got the lows are not going to be 58. Only about 20-30% chance of rain the whole weekend. So should have some fantastic views. Stayed at the Hilton last night. The Fontana Hilton shelter there. The charging station is still broke, but water's still good. Bathrooms need some maintenance, but the ones down at the dam are maintained regularly, and so is the shower. So if you got to take a shower or utilize the facilities, particularly in the sit down mode, then the dam is 0.6 away from the shelter. That'd be your most hygienic bet. Otherwise, right there at the shelter is the shower and the bathroom. A couple chaps in there last night, young guys, and they were doing about 65 miles on this section. I think they'd come from the knock, and they were taking a 0 before they went to the Smokies. I don't know what you do with a 0. I think they said they were going to go to the marina and rent a kayak or something. But anyway, that's pretty much how it's been. Did hear some mice last night. My Uncle Si gets a little on the concerned side when he sees a snake. Saw a little old baby snake. I don't know what kind it was. It was non-poisonous, but had them like a banded king snake, but the bands weren't in bands, they were in spots. So we'll look that up and find out what it was, but I won't be able to tell you right now. I'll leave it. To get home, I'll look it up and leave it down at the bottom down here for you if I figure it out. Alright, Charlie Mike. Alright, so we are about 4 miles into the day, all uphill pretty much so far. About an hour and a half. 3/10 from the first water point, 1.5 miles from Shuck Stack, and 3 miles to the next water point. which is at the first campgrounds there. I think it's one of the few campgrounds. I think it's the only campground in the southern section. It doesn't have a shelter at it, or a campsite rather. So taking a break here. Feeling good. Sorry for the shake, a little shaky, just from a physical workout for me coming up. So that's pretty much 4 miles up the whole time. Uncle Si, he's coming up the trail here shortly. I'm gonna wait on him and see if he needs. I've got the Sawyer squeeze, so I'll make sure he doesn't need any water. He's got an Nalgene, another water bottle, so hopefully he doesn't. But here he comes now. All right, we'll check in at Shuck Stack. Shuck Stack Fire Tower is about 2/10, 1.6, something like that, off of the AT. So the AT doesn't exactly go by it. But it was an old fire tower built in sometime around the 1930s. It has not been refurbished, so the floor can be pretty dang sketchy. It's one of the tallest fire towers there on the AT, and what remains of the old fire warden's cabin is still there, mainly the chimney and the foundation. But it really offers great views. Most of the windows are still intact and are still operable, so it's got 360-degree views looking pretty much everywhere, around all throughout the Smokies and back over Fontana Lake, over the dam. So it's a pretty good place to just go ahead and take a break, get up there. We made sure we kept our feet over the main supports. I would do the same if I were you. But did have a great views everywhere, and so it was a really good spot to go up there, maybe have a little bite to eat, a little snack, just to kind of relax from the climb up, the first climb out. So it's, I don't know, maybe a little halfway, better than halfway up to the first shelter there at Molly's Ridge. But we did want to see it just for all the views. Had a great day where you could just see long distances, and could actually look back and see Klingman's Dome eventually where we were going. So it's a good spot. Glad we stopped, took the effort. You are in bear country at this point, so rather than leave my pack down at the trailhead where the trail to the tower diverts off of the AT, I would take my pack with you, because this is bear country and it may not be there when you come back. All right, so we are continuing on to Molly's Ridge. We just left the campsite. Well, just left. We left it about 45 minutes ago. It's a campsite. Down there, ate lunch, got some water. We got about, I don't know, 6 more miles, give or take, to Molly's Ridge. It's all up. And been tough going, for sure. Trail is pretty growed over. Hadn't seen any blowdowns to mount to anything. That's really the first one right there I've seen across the trail. But trail's been good so far. We're gonna get to Molly's Ridge. That's where we're registered and required to go to by our registration. Get there and see if we want to go to the next one, or even the next one. There's like, can't remember the names, they're all 3 close together, and whatever we accomplish today, because this is only supposed to be like 11 miles, it is all uphill, but whatever we accomplish today we'll cut off tomorrow, which is right now scheduled to be about an 18-mile day, and got a pretty good up shortly after we get on the trail. So we're gonna see how we feel. We'll get there and make that decision, see how much daylight and how we feel, and check, see how far it is. But it's kind of where we're at. I'll let you see a little bit of the trail now without me yapping. We did stop at Shuck Stack Tower for, I don't know, 30 minutes. There's not a sign that directs you up there. There's the only thing that tells you it's a trail. Of course, it's obvious it's a trail, but it doesn't tell you what it is. So you have to know that the gut hooks are. You will see a double blaze with one hash over, but it's not blue blazed. So you don't know if that's supposed to go up there or not. But it's about 1/10 of a mile off the trail. Since this is bear country and they've had a lot of cautions out, really at all the shelters about bears, we elected not to leave our packs down at the base where the trail diverges, splits to go up there. The side trail is to that, just because we want our packs with us. I talked to a guy, he was not from around these parts, because he talked like this. He might be from a land down under. Yeah. He said he started Davenport Gap, been on the trail for 7 days. And he said that he had seen bear, turkey, and rattlesnake, heard some pigs, deer. So he'd seen a lot in his trip. We hadn't seen squat. But anyhow, that's where we're at. Shuck Stack was a great views from up there. We had a good clear day. I think we could see all the way back to Klingman's Dome. This might be the highest mountain here that you can see. Couldn't see the tower, so it may be the wrong mountain peak. I would expect to see the tower as close as we are, but that may not have been it. Shuck Stack has not been refurbished, so a little sketchy. Handrails are missing. It's quite a tall tower. Oh, this sucks. Oh. Well, that's what happens when the trail doesn't get maintained. You just wind up going around it and creating a problem. Creating a washout area, but anyhow, Shuck Stack, the floor is in bad shape. And I would say if you're going up that tower, keep your weight over the supports, the main horizontal beams. Don't count on that floor. Alright, let me get off here and see it suck at Molly's Ridge. Alright, so we got to Molly Ridge's shelter, and one person was there, but we got like plenty of daylight, and we got concerned because our day tomorrow is 17.8 something, almost 18 miles, and so got a little worried that may be quite a bit in the Smokies. Felt like that the best thing we could do was to push on to Russell Field shelter, even though we don't have a reservation there, and that's another 3.6 down the trail, so that would cut that much off tomorrow and get us back to something a little more reasonable. Still had pretty oomph left in the tank, not plenty, but some, and I'm dragging now, but we just decided to go ahead and do that. So coming to Russell Field now. The trick is Russell Field going to be open? I do all these updates and I can't remember if it's closed or open. I can't get online, couldn't back down at Molly's Ridge to determine, and I do recall when we made reservations that there was one shelter in the Smokies that was red. indicating that it was completely full. And I thought that was odd when there wasn't much around anywhere else. And now I think I have figured out that the reason it was all red, meaning there was no spots there, is because that shelter was closed. And the National Park Service had it closed on their website, so you could make a reservation there. And now I'm second guessing whether or not that was Russell Fields, because I might have looked at that when I was determining how far we were going to go the first day, just for grins, knowing that, you know, 9 point whatever it was, 6 I guess, to Molly's Ridge from Fontana Dam is kind of a short day for me, and we were starting in the morning, but I kind of accounted for the fact that it was up all the way, and a significant up with several thousand feet of elevation gain. So I'm starting to think we should have stayed back there. We'll see when we get up here, and we'll have to make a decision whether we're going to skirt the law or not. Or risk, of course, they've got it, if it's closed for a good reason, and here it is, and there's somebody here. So it doesn't look like it's closed. So we'll sign off for now. So we stayed at Russell Field Shelter with a couple of folks, a really neat couple. They were just hiking up from Cage Cove, and then a through hiker who was actually ending his through hike attempt. So it's pretty neat to get to meet folks like that, and just, you know, like the same things you always talk about gear, but you talk about family. This couple were public servants, and the lady had actually grown up in China and from a missionary family, and the fella, he worked for social services as did the lady. So it's really good to get to know them and share that. And you know, we got done the next morning, we're getting ready to go, and they said, "Hey, can we take a picture with y'all?" So that was kind of neat. I mean, they didn't know who we were other than just our trail names. But it was kind of neat to, you know, they felt like they had bonded with us enough where they wanted to remember us as part of their trip, and so they took a picture with us. So that was cool, and we did likewise to include them as part of our trip. All right, so we are left a little earlier today, about 8:15ish, 8:45. That's 8:45 is when we left. Yesterday we left at 9:30, and wound up, I think I did a video last night, wound up pushing ahead to Russell Field Shelter instead of Molly's Ridge. Got there, stayed there, crashed for the night, and got up this morning, ate breakfast, and we've already passed the next shelter, which is Russell Field, Spence Field, I believe. And Rocky Top, made that climb. Thunderhead, coming down Thunderhead now, so it's pretty significant climbs so far. Tough climbs. And this is all rock coming down north of Thunderhead. So this is what it looks like. Ran into a ridge runner. There was some guys up on Rocky Top, and he really wasn't real friendly, and he was concerned with checking their backcountry permits. I don't know if he didn't hassle us because we were old looking or what. The other folks were kind of young. One guy had on a pair of jeans with holes all in them. Anyhow, he didn't give us any flack, but started hiking behind us, and we were trying to engage him in conversation, and he just wasn't a friendly type. Finally, he said, "Let me get by you." And for an ambassador to the trail, a little disappointed in him not being more friendly, I guess. Seemed to be more intent on getting to his next shelter to check it for trash or leave no trace, whatever. But day's pretty warm. Even figured it would be chillier, but it's not. But it's a pretty warm day, pretty muggy. Can feel a little bit of a breeze blowing down in here, but not much. So our destination is Silers Ball Shelter. Should be since we cut about 4 miles out yesterday by going to the next shelter instead of staying at Molly's Ridge. It was going to be a 18-mile day, so now it's going to be a 14-mile day. So that's a whole lot more doable since shouldn't have as many long ups and have some downs and flats. Of course, I was looking on gut hooks and looking on the AWOL's guide when I was planning it, and I'm thinking, that don't look so bad. Looks like it'll moderate by the time we get past Russell Fields. Dang. Famous last words. Don't feel like it's moderated. Anyway, gorgeous day. Enjoying the hike. We'll check in with you later. All right, we are, I think, less than 2 miles out from what was this shelter? Silers Ball Shelter. We're going to the end of a 14.8 mile day here in the Smokies. Like to kill me. It's tough. I say this every time I come out here. I think it's the toughest day I've had on trail. But anyway, coming in, taking us a while. Usually I'm 2.5, 3 miles per hour. We're only doing about 1.5 miles at that. Of course, it's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs. The ups have been gosh awful. Like the kind of ups that you stick your hand out and you're touching the ground and you're still standing. Anyhow, should be there in an hour or so. I'll be ready for it tonight. I'm so tuckered out, I don't feel like eating. All right, I'll see you at the shelter. I've always heard from people how, particularly through hikers, how they say the trail provides. Whatever you're needing at the time, the trail provides. Now, sometimes that's mentally, but sometimes it's also in the physical world. And in this case, the trail provided for me. I had accidentally left my dirty water bag at a water source and left it hanging in the tree. And turned around to shake out my Sawyer squeeze and then just packed everything up and left my dirty water bag. Didn't know I'd left it there. Got to the next shelter. The guys at that shelter said, "Hey, where y'all going?" We said, "We're going to Silers Ball." And he said, "Well, here, I think this dirty water bag belongs to somebody that's going to be at Silers Ball. So will y'all take it?" And I said, "Sure, we're glad to take it to them." So we packed it up. I got to Silers Ball. I asked everybody, "Hey, is somebody here missing a dirty water bag?" And nobody said no. Or no, nobody said they were. And so I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm just going to pack it out and do whatever with it. Well, when I went to get water and got into my pouch that I keep my water in, sure enough, I had misplaced my dirty water bag. So now the trail provided, and I had a dirty water bag that I could use for water. So I thought that was pretty neat for my trail provided story of the trip. I think my favorite time to hike is in the spring because you really have a lot better views. Now, we did see some views here, but all the vegetation has come out, and so you don't get all the views through the woods like you normally would. You actually have to come out to a place that's not vegetated, and even at some of the spots at the peaks and the balls that claim to have a view, you really don't, because they're overgrown up there, like here at Rocky Top, and even on Silers Bald in some places. So, this is not a lot of great views through here when everything's grown up, but even without having long distance views, you have some gorgeous spots, particularly when you get up in the morning and you look through these pristine forests that are there and just look at the ethereal. And then you come across, just for me, this is kind of neat, like an old sign there with all the colors behind it, and just the way the sun's coming through and accentuating all of that. And this sign
looks like it's just been there for eons. But all the colors and everything were just really neat, and enjoyed seeing that. Well, a lot of different flowers that I had not seen, and typically you don't see in the summer until you get to these higher elevations. And so just just really pretty looking at all this. Really enjoyed seeing that, and I don't have much of a photographic eye, but you see things like this Turk's Head, and it just you start looking for other things in there. And one of the scenes that we came across where it looked like the forest was actually starting to consume itself with all the moss and everything was just starting to eat and decay into all the wood, and it was just consuming itself. So we got done with the hike, and we got to Newfound Gap, and sure enough, hadn't run into anybody that recognized me or I recognized them until we got to Newfound Gap. And who do I run into but the postman from the Seraphin Hikes channel. So he's doing his flip-flop, and he was coming through Sobo on the Smokies, and we kind of hit it off. He recognized me, and so it was really neat, and I appreciate him coming up and chatting with me and getting a photo with me, and us just getting a chance to talk about his hike and everything. That was neat just to catch up with him. And by now he is probably done with his Sobo and is getting ready. He's probably already hit Springer and turning around. My understanding is he's going to hang out with his sister in Atlanta and then go home and change out his gear and head on out to do his flip-flop. I think going back to Harper's Ferry and heading north to Katahdin. Well, the hike was great. We had a great time on it. Like I always say, this was the toughest section I've done yet, but we did enjoy it. I'm already planning for my next section, and that'll be the northern section and get me through the Smokies. Hoping to complete all of North Carolina this year, but probably in another month to 6 weeks I'll be doing that section of the Smokies. So, but we had a good time. This is probably the first time I've gone with somebody in a while, so enjoyed that with my hiking buddy there, Uncle Si, and I'm sure it was tough for him too, but made it through, and everything went great. Worked out good on my food supply. Did better this time, so I think I've kind of got that food dialed in. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. If there is anything you got out of this, give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, and as always, appreciate you, and we'll see you out there.